Welcome back to Double Down University. I'm back with you guys with another MLB PrizePicks video for April the 12th. And the two props that I have for you guys today is Paul Goldschmidt over 9.5 hitter fantasy score and Ketel Marte over 5.5 hitter fantasy score. First thing I always like to look at is weather. So weather is great hitting weather, great hitting environments in Coors Field, which is the first game with Goldschmidt, and then Chase Field with Ketel Marte, as you know, is great environment for doubles and triples in this environment. So let's get into it. So Goldschmidt bats third. He is in the lineup in the third hole, like I stated, and he has Arenado behind him, Walker, O'Neill, Gorman, and Kinzer all behind him. But he also has speed in front of him with Donovan and Burleson to be able to get on base and be able to steal a bag and get in scoring position. He's going up against the biggest trash can pitcher of them all, Jose Urena. He throws a sinker, slider, and change, and Paul Goldschmidt hits those very well. So let's look at his run values from a sinker. He hits 348 last year. I kind of want to go off last year, not really too much this year, but even this year he's hitting 571 against the sinker. Slider, he's hitting 268, and then this year he's hitting 333, so really great numbers. And then against the changeup, he's hitting 286 last year, and then against the changeup this year he's hitting, well, he hasn't seen too many changeups, so that's why I kind of want to go off a bigger sample size of last year. So I really like that. And then Urena is a righty, I believe. Let me see. Yep, he is a righty. So let's look at his splits against righties. So Paul Goldschmidt splits against righties. He's hitting 321 against righties this year. And then let's go a step further. Last year he's hitting 294, which is really great. I wish he was against a lefty because he kills lefties. He was batting 411 last year against lefties, but that's nor here nor there. So with Urena, his splits is pretty terrible as well. He's given up 234 to righties last year, and then this year he's given up a whopping 400 batting average this year. So, and he's given up 500 against lefties. I wish they had more props with lefties in this Cardinals lineup. That would, because they're just killing him. Like, he's 329 like last year batting average against him. And then this year, 500. So basically, every other at bat, they should be getting a hit. That's basically a 500 batting average. But looking further and deeper into this game, especially with Goldschmidt, I don't want to just take into account just him against a starter, because Urena is probably not going to last long. He's going to get shelled. He's going to give up, 2 or 3 runs, maybe more than that, against this Cardinals patient lineup. So I dug a little deeper in this matchup, and let's go to the NL. So this is bullpen usage. I really like using this to kind of get a feel for the pitching arsenal of the opponent that they're going up against. Each hitter is going up against. So he is going up against the Cardinals. Cardinals, where are they? St. Louis. Where are you? Here it is. So I looked up against the not the Cardinals, the Rockies. My bad. I'm sorry. The Rockies. So against the Rockies, I looked up so this basically tells you how many pitches they've thrown yesterday and the day before, to show you who's kind of would be in line to play today. So basically, everybody that didn't pitch yesterday, I kind of looked at their numbers or just their pitching arsenal and see what they throw. And probably 3 or 4 of these guys out of the 5 in line to potentially all throw sinkers, which Goldschmidt is crushing right now. So he will face more sinkers even when Urena is out. And then as well, I think I wrote it down too, is Lawrence and Blatch. They throw sinker and sliders, which he's really good at as well. I don't think Lamet will pitch today because he thrown 30 pitches yesterday, so they kind of want to give him a rest. But you could see Johnson and Bird pitching today, so I really like him in this spot. Like, as I stated, like Blatch, he throws I think he's a predominant sinker ball pitcher. Let's go look at his pitching arsenal. So yeah, so he's a 45% sinker, throws a little cutter in there, and then change up. So his cutter is basically like his sinker is really his fastball, but his sinker could turn to a cutter depending on how you grip it. So he doesn't have too much of a everything is straight with him. There's no like breaking pitches. Like he throws his curveball 8% of the time, changeup 21%. So his changeup is pretty like the only off-speed pitch that he has, but he's pretty much just a straight. I call those type of pitchers straight pitchers, where they don't really have too much of a breaking pitch in their arsenal. Same thing for this guy right here, Brad Hand. So Brad Hand, he throws predominantly fastball, slider, and a little bit of sinker in there. He doesn't really throw a cutter too much, but he's more of a fastball slider guy. And Goldschmidt is in a good spot with those as well. And he's against a lefty, so he crushes lefties, so that goes into play as well. Same thing for Justin Lawrence. He is a righty, but he throws a slider and sinker. So all those go in line to what I previously stated about Urena and Goldschmidt, how he crushes those two pitches. So I really like Goldschmidt to come through for us today. He's in a really great spot as well. So moving on to Mr. Marte. So Ketel Marte, he had a little off game yesterday. We go through his game log. So in his game log yesterday, let me see, is it yesterday? Yeah, so yesterday he actually scored a run and didn't do too much else after that. I think he got out 3 other times, but before that he's been on a little heater hitting wise. Like he's had a hit, and let's say 7 out of his last 8 games, as he's got 2 hits the game before that, 3 hits the game before that, and then 1 hit for the last 5 games. So I really like him to continue to get back on his pace that he's been on. He has a little bit of speed too as well. His walk rate isn't ideal. His K rate is what I'm kind of targeting, because Christian Walker was another option I was looking at too. I think he can go over his fantasy score as well. That's kind of a lean for me. He strikes out too much for me to be able to give him like an official play. Marte, even though he doesn't strike out a lot, he doesn't walk as much, but I think against this young pitcher, Junk, he's going up against Justin Junk. Let me see if I can find. Let's see. Did I have him up there? Justin Junk. I don't have him up there. Here, I think this is him. Yep, Jansen Junk. Here it is. So he throws a slider, fastball, curveball. Pretty much just a slider and fastball. And Marte, he's been doing okay against fastballs. He's had a 300 average. So if you look right, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so right here, he's batting .238 this year against fastballs. Last year, he's batting .253, but he's a good off-speed pitch hitter. He's batting .500, and then he's batting .275. So I really like him in this spot to at least get on base and score himself as a score himself as a runner, which would be 5 fantasy points. And then if he just gets a walk later on in the game, he should be okay. And then going through with all of the same thing that I did with Goldschmidt is look at the bullpen for the Brewers. And Bush, he throws a 4-seam curveball, slot, a sinker, and then everybody else, the predominant pitch that everybody throws is a sinker and fastball for the most part. So let's go look at his run values for sinkers and fastballs. So let's see. So he is, like I stated, he's a pretty good fastball hitter. He's batting .308 this year, and then last year .230. But against the sinker, he's really, really doing well. He's batting .365, I should say, against the sinker last year. I kind of want to take that because this year we still have a small sample size, but he's batting .500 against the sinker this year as well. So those are 2 pitches that he really sees well. His splits are, let's go look at them. So he has a really, really good split against lefties, and then batting .200 against righties. But I don't take that too much into consideration because it's early in the year. So he might have just seen a lot of lefties over righties, this year. So, and then like he's only had 16 plate appearances against against lefties and 30 against righties. So I think over the course of the season that'll kind of even out. And then we can go back to last year. Like last year, he's batting .313, which is really, really good against righties, and .341. So he just sees lefties well, but against righties, he's still doing pretty well over the course of the long haul of the season. So I really like Marte in this spot to at least get a double or get a couple singles. That's really all he needs is 2 singles. And RBI single, and then he scores, should be able to cover this as well, or just 2 walks, and he scores. So it's pretty attainable. It's pretty low. This Jansen Junk kid, I've watched some video or some film of him on YouTube, and he tends to use his slider high in the zone. So like as you can see here, like he uses his slider pretty much almost like a high fastball, in a sense of trying to get that sliding action or that breaking action away from the hitter. So he kind of uses that kind of high in the strike zone. You normally would see people use their sliders like in the bottom quadrant, so like where my cursor is in the bottom part of the zone, but he kind of uses it in the upper part of the zone to try to, since he doesn't have too much of a changeup, he doesn't use it too often. So that's kind of like, I wouldn't say his changeup, but it's kind of like his off-speed pitch in a sense. So his fastball, curveball, he kind of throws that as like a traditional breaking pitch where he throws it in the middle to the bottom of the zone. But I just think that Marte, if he gets a hold of one of his sliders, he can, bang it into the gap for a double. And as well as his fastball, he throws that pretty much predominantly in the middle of the plate as well. So I really like those 2 for you guys. Paul Goldschmidt over 9.5 fantasy score, and Ketel Marte over 5.5 hitter fantasy score. I appreciate you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.